What's up, guys? Today we're talking about boonies. We had a lot of questions. Aaron, how do we hook the ExFog Antifog system up to boonies? As you guys know, these are very modifiable. As for the unit itself is custom mounted, can get attached on a lot of different headwear. Just about anything, including no headwear if that's what you choose with the included headbands or T-bands. However, a lot of our guys run boonies, and I'm going to show you about 3 different ways to set it up. One that's not so recommended, but I've seen a lot of guys have success with that, and a couple other ways. In all cases, it's going to be easy to move it out and put the system back in. So without further ado, let's get ready to rock and roll. Alright, so what do you need in order to do this? First of all, you're going to need the ExFog system. This all comes in the kit, the unit, the manifolds, the tubing, either the T-band or the headband if you chose that, as well as if you chose the T-band, which I recommend if you know your primary hookup is going to be boonies and it's going to be for kind of the long term, I would definitely recommend getting the T-band kit. One of the reasons for that is it does come with a couple of zip ties, which you are going to use most likely for this. So aside from that, over and above that, you definitely would typically want some scissors. Obviously, it has to cut your hosing down, and you'll need an X-Acto knife. So the only 2 things outside of the kit that you really should have is the scissors as well as an X-Acto knife. So before we get started too much, a lot of people might ask me, well, Aaron, why don't I just get a headband? A lot of people do this and hook it up and just take the ExFog unit itself, you know, Velcro it right to the headband, put on my manifold, cut my tubing, and just stick it on the boonie itself. And there are definitely guys that do that. So that's definitely, if you just got the headband system, you could absolutely do that. It's quick, it's easy. But for most guys, they don't want all of this stuff. They don't want all of this extra webbing on their head. So this video today is to kind of go outside of that and again show some better hookups. So let's go ahead and get started with the physical, with the 3 main hookups that we see, and we'll go from there. Alright, so hookup number 1. I'm just using a unit we already have. It's already got the hook Velcro on the back, but your Velcro does of course come in a kit. This is the not recommended method, but I've seen it work a lot. What people do, again, you're just going to take, in almost all cases, actually in all cases I'm going to show you, you're going to take your hook Velcro, which I've already done in this case. You're going to take your hook and loop and you're going to put it on your unit. I have absolutely seen this done a lot. What people will do is just take the loop Velcro, which is extremely sticky. They'll put it on the back of their boonie. Now this glue adheres pretty darn well. They're going to take the side-to-side manifolds, pop it on, put the unit on the back. Now, I want to show you with the tubing what many people do, and we're going to do this in this video, is that they will take the X-Acto knife where this comes into play. I've seen it done with scissors too, but you'll get a more precision cut. Is they're actually going to put a small incision right here above their temple in a place that feels comfortable for them, and we'll do that here in just a minute with the other hookups. And then at that point it's just going to run down and it's going to just tug nicely right into the temples, and that tube will actually come right across the side here and dip down into the temples. You'll barely see the tube come across nice along the ridge line. It'll come right down, tuck right into the temples. Usually this is tucked is nice and low on the head, and you don't see any tubing protrude. You don't have anything that'll get cut or hooked on anything, and that works really well. The reason obviously I don't recommend this is for obvious reasons. Although it's hard Velcro, I can still pull it off. It's still very hard to take on and off. Over time, my concern is that when you get dirt and debris and things like that in this, it's going to wear off and it'll fall out. Now obviously you'll know if it falls off because it'll most likely jerk the tubing or pull the hat. You'll definitely feel something move there. But again, I'd rather not take the risk. The other thing you can do is take a non-sticky back, something you can get at the store, just a non-sticky back Velcro, and some people will actually sew that on. Put the side-to-side manifolds, like I said, bring it around and tuck it, and we'll show that going forward. So that's method number one. Like I said, that's not highly recommended for that reason, but you can definitely do that. All right, so going on to attachment method number two, this is the quickest, really good secure method to do it. That I would recommend if you want to get out on the field quickly. It's kind of a quick attachment method, but it's definitely the recommended quick attachment method. So what we do in that case is that you're going to take either your T-band or your headband, whatever you had in your kit. You're going to have to modify it. And there is a method to the madness. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your T-band or your headband, and again, like we mentioned before, this is for guys that are looking for a more permanent attachment. Now keep in mind you can always purchase additional accessories online. So if you're like, hey, I wanted a T-band for a different situation or a headband for a different situation, maybe you're a downhill skier or whatever, then those are certainly available. But again, for those guys that are going, this is going to be my primary attachment method, there's a way to run it. First of all, you're going to get rid of your elastic and your webbing on your T-band. And I'm going to speed some of this up and cut to other parts as we go through this so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. You'll get definitely the gist of what we're doing. But I'm going to remove the plate from the webbing. Now, you can take the zip ties that were included in your T-band. Remember how I mentioned earlier, you pick up the T-band kit, they have zip ties. Now what I like to do with this plate, keep in mind this manifold will bump you up a little bit. The side-to-side manifold, for obvious reasons, allows this to sit on top of the Boonie or any kind of baseball cap without kinking the line. So obviously this is what you want. However, like was with any manifold, it is going to protrude a little bit from the unit. That's why instead of having this like this, where this is sitting up higher and you have less of a connection point with the Velcro, flip it. I'm going to flip this and attach this plate here with the zip ties, and now it sits perfectly on the unit itself. Now I can make it flush with the unit and I have that natural spacing that I need right above my bill. So I'm just going to take this. When you're putting in the zip ties, you're going to want the zip ties to go through the bottom here, not through the top. So you're not going to want to come, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's easy to see. You want the zip ties to come and basically connect from the bottom of the plate here. And when you do that, that allows the plate to sit right on top like so. So again, I'm going to take my zip tie on the other side. I'm going to run it. And you can point it upward or downward, it doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that you're zip tying to this side, not to this side. So you're zip tying it to the bottom. Going to cut. So as you can see, what I've done here is I created a nice attachment point for the unit. With the unit being only 2.9 ounces, it sits nicely here. I can make it tighter if I want, but that isn't going anywhere. And then what I'm going to do is just take the side to side manifold, the Velcro, I'm going to put it on the Boonie itself. So I'm going to want to put this on and find a place around my temple area where I feel the hose is going to come down and sit into my eyes. It's usually right over the temple. So I'm just going to put it on and kind of put my fingers where I think I'd like that hose to drop down. You do want it to be a little bit back from your temples, or back from the front corners of your eyes. So instead of, and I know it's going to be real close, but instead of being way up here, you're going to want this coming back around here. This is about where you're going to want your tubing to drop down. So you're just going to kind of hit it with your finger. I'm going to want it right underneath that little seam. Then all you're going to do is X-Acto knife into that corner where you want your tubing to drop through. And I wouldn't do much, just enough to get it through. And that's really it. So I'm going to hit the other side. That's about it. Now, I'm going to bring my hose through. I should be able to tuck my hose into either side. If it's too tight, I can open it up just a hair more. If I do a little T-cut here, it'll open it up just a little more. Like so. Tube's through. It's not kinked. But we know that fits. Now we just want to check the other side. Fits nicely. Now it's just a matter of cutting it to size. Now one thing I don't recommend is cutting the tube. A lot of guys will say, hey, I'm going to cut this tube in half like so, and then I'm going to trim it down after that. Well, the problem is you kind of waste extra hose. If you want this good for a couple applications, what I highly recommend is that you get your tubing hooked up and you cut it one at a time. So in other words, you hook it up as you go. So I'm going to run this through here. So now that we have our first hose down, we're just going to cut it down to fix. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Wiley X's. These are my low pros, my scripts. I run these a lot when I'm not wearing my glasses, taking quite a beating over time. And just going to hook her up here. Take my hose, cut her down to what I feel would be a good length. I always suggest you guys cut a little more than a little less. You know, you'd rather have to take it back than take it forward, or than to have to get a new hose. But it's as simple as that. So now I got this end, it's tucked in, it's tight. This Boonie's a little tight on my head, but it works well. It's going to stay here, it isn't going anywhere. Unless I want to give myself a concussion. And like I said, this is the quick method. This gets you out in the field and gets you rocking and rolling. So then, now that I got that cut down, I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now this just goes in my gear bag when I'm done playing, whatever. I can easily charge it from here. It doesn't have any kinks. Fits around the sides really nice, so I'm ready to go rock and roll. Just put this bad boy on. Tuck the tubes. clicker on, and I'm rocking and rolling. So it's as simple as that. The tube's nice and tight. It isn't going anywhere. I can move. I can do whatever I want. So that's, for those of you that are looking to hook up to a Boonie, that's a real good way to get her done. Now, many of you guys saw this kind of pulling back a little bit, and if you're anything like me, you're probably getting to the point where you're like, well, wait a minute, you know, this might, or, you know, if you're obsessive compulsive like me, I'm always trying to make things better. Well, what can you do? Basically, the third recommendation, which is really just a modification of the first one. All you're going to do is take your X-Acto knife, you're going to punch a hole here in the cap and one above, and you're going to run a secondary zip tie. Get this a little bit closer. You're just going to punch a hole below and above this hook and get a secondary zip tie to hook that in. So we'll show you here. One thing I forgot to mention, because I did not just cut this tube in half, look at how much extra I have. I have enough for, I should be able to rock this in a helmet, no problem. I have a lot of tube left over. I might even have enough for 2 applications from this point as well outside of that. Now it's going to be tight, but again, you got this extra tubing so you're not going to feel restricted. So just want to give you that heads up. So now on to our last modification. Again, the last modification is simple. All that we're doing at this point is we're just tightening the unit to the hat. Okay? Making sure you can see that all right. You're just going to tighten that up to the hat. And the way you're going to do that is that you're going to punch one hole below, one hole above, and you're going to zip tie it, just like so. So I'm going to remove the manifold. One quick way that you can work on this stuff is just loosen up some of your tubing, remove your manifold, pop your unit, and then punch a hole, punch a hole, punch a hole above, and then now that I know where they are, I'm going to widen them out. Just a hair because it's a small zip tie. And there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found this worthwhile. And stay tuned. We'll put together other information. Definitely let us know if there are other troubleshooting or tips or tricks or, you know, information you want to hear from us. And we will try to get her done. Well, guys, there you have it. We finished everything up, showed you the 3 different main installation methods, from the sticky vac Velcro to the just doing the lower quick zip ties that get you out in the field quickly, doing the top 2, showed you how to tuck her so the tubes get right in, stay nice and secure right along the ridge line. At the end of the day, you're just going to take it on, take it off, chuck it in your gear bag. When you're done, you don't have to worry about it. Guys, cannot tell you how much we appreciate the support. Last year and 9 months since we launched, it's been a wild ride. So, you know, we've got over 5,000 in the field. We've got well over 40 plus dealers worldwide now. We have many different countries that we're working with as well. Anybody that's looking, hit up our dealer locator on the site, support local, join the ExFog Army. And again, guys, we can't tell you how much we appreciate it. There's a reason these are warranted. We put our service in our customers first. And as always, if you got any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Please hit that subscribe button. Please give us a share, give us a shout out. And again, we can't tell you how much we appreciate the support. Talk to you later.